You're invited to our Sedona Ascension Retreat featuring world-renowned speakers, best-selling authors, and global thought leaders, including Viviane Chauvet. Viviane is an international public speaker, published author, multidimensional healer, and spiritual teacher. In 2013, she founded Infinite Healing from the Stars to assist people worldwide to heal and ascend. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to be here today with Viviane Chauvet. And Viviane is an advanced Arcturian hybrid in a human projected form. Viviane has been serving in many ways, offering sessions in multidimensional frequency healing, as well as many others, and also is the author of a best-selling book, Wisdom of the Silver Sisters, Guiding Grace. Viviane, tell us about how you awakened to your true identity and what you've been up to since then.
Oh, thank you, Suzanne. It's wonderful to be here. Looking forward for this your amazing event, the conference in March in Sedona. So all this came about, I would say, the moment I set foot on the planet, the moment I came back here. It's been a journey that has started even as a child. Just by the age 4 or 5 years old, I was already in a conscious holographic telepathic communications with my star group. It was something for me that was very natural to be always in this blended communication with this amazing Arcturian being that I'm a part of. And I do have a group assigned to me, Suzanne, by my Arcturian father. I have a group of very highly specialized Arcturians who are with me all the time. So I remember even in school, even in kindergarten, making observation, not understanding the functionality, how children were behaving, adults, their relationship with one another, the way the energy was feeling more constricted, the density of the planet. So I've always been having those really intense, very advanced thought forms, even as a child. And then my group would simply coach me, says, remember now that you are experiencing an earth human level of life here on this earth and how things are evolving and how far the consciousness has gone in density. And remember that you're here to help to reawakening everyone to their point of origin. So in a nutshell, we're definitely here to help people evolve. We're here to support the organic timeline of ascension. We're here to overseas to make sure that the stability of the timeline is maintained, protected, so we can have an opportunity. When I say we, it's all of us on the planet, every life form, even the Earth herself. We're here to assist an entire planetary system in the midst of such an historical change of era of consciousness. Think about it. What we are looking and living and experiencing right now, it's truly historical. And the ripple effect of our evolution back to divinity, back to our avatar self, back to a fifth dimensional consciousness is guiding others, other civilizations in other place in the quadrant where they are also on the verge of a huge evolutionary process. So what we're doing here is extremely important, not only for all of us, all life, even our animals. Now they are part of this ascension process as well. And so what is at stake has always been something very important to me. Part of the Arcturian trait is that we take our mission very seriously. And so even as a child, the notion of enjoy life, be playful, play, just have fun, felt like, what do you mean have fun? I'm here on a mission. I'm here to fulfill something major, and I can feel and see what we're here to do. So what do you mean I need to have fun? So I have to learn this concept, over time to understand what enjoying life or playing or having fun, what did it mean here in this dimension, in this frequencies? I didn't understand that. So there's a lot of things, a lot of these concepts that I have to learn as I evolved and went to school and interact with other children, and later on in life, my first job, and I spent 20 years in corporate. That was quite a journey going to how to activate light in a corporate world. That was a really big mission for me right there. So it has been very much on an ongoing process, even though I was not public, Suzanne, or known up to a certain point. I've done a lot of work. I'm always on off planet, always working with the different octaves of light, always working with a different level of frequencies and the new codes coming in. So I've always been very active, even though I was more working behind the scenes, so to speak, until we reach a conjunction on the planet. And then my group says, okay, now you're going to start to emerge more in the light of the public light. And this is why I started the other phase of my work until this conversation today.
Thank you for sharing that. You talk about how the consciousness became so dense and sort of a return to a fifth dimensional consciousness. Can you talk about the fall in consciousness on planet Earth and how the consciousness is more dense now than it maybe once was? Were we once a civilization in fifth dimensional consciousness?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you look at the original human template or the original human blueprint, we were definitely Earth human beings, or the consciousness on the Earth, was on a much more higher level of consciousness. If you look at the original root races on the planet, like Lemuria, Atlantis, in their original conception, Lemuria and Atlantis were designed to be, anchor and pillars of light, who were living in complete harmony with the different ecosystem, telepathic communication, utilizing consciousness, organic technology, being able to communicate and travel through the multiverse, working with other groups, galactic groups, councils of light. It was part of the natural day to day. I'm not an historian, part of my group. My specialty is more evolution. But what I understand of the fall is that there has been, I believe about 350,000 years ago, there has been a rebellion, a fracture in the timeline where the consciousness started to descend. And we know what happened to Atlantis after its fifth generation, moving into the golden age. Atlantis fell again. There was a lot of corruption, separation. There was a lot of things that happened there. It's very complex. But we have seen the energy, the downfall in terms of the descending back into more lower density. If you think about the time universal matrix that the body was originally from, even moving from a 12-dimensional blueprint, going down all the way to the third density of where we are right now, more into our egoic personality matrix, you have to think that what happened between the 12th dimension and third dimension, that quite a bit of descending that took place. And it's very, very complex. I'm just brushing really quickly over something that sounds so simplified, but it's not. But at the same time, just to give an idea, I could ask we have historian part of our group that are specialized into understanding each planetary evolution, ascending or descending. But if you look, what is the most important to remember, Suzanne, is looking at today. I would say the last at least 50, 60 years of generational timeline of star seed master coming back to the planet. And this has been going on for quite a while now. You can tell that so many soul has returned to the earth, into these earth human form, to really re-encore very specific frequencies of consciousness, and being able to start to bring the earth back to an alignment that finally we can bridge the third density to the fifth dimension, and be able to stabilize that bridge was quite an endeavor as well. But we have reached that point now more and more, even though we're still seeing so much changes, so much purification, old system coming down. More has been revealed in all of this. But at the same time, You have to feel into your heart that there is a stability between what we call the sacred bridge of the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And you can tell that the earth has shifted even to the rhythm of her own energy. I can feel it in her pulse. I can feel it in the core of Gaia that she is ready to says, okay, I'm barely holding that third dimensional bridge now. Let's just create that wave of awakening. Let's go into that acceleration of evolution so we can bring the fifth dimensional reality and to realize that this is much more reachable, doable now than it was even 5, 6 years ago. Have you noticed the change even just the last 3 years is phenomenal? There's so many waves of awakening worldwide. And I'll tell you, Suzanne, I see it every day in my practice. I have the joy of working with amazing people worldwide from different cultures, background, places. Sometimes I don't even know what's on the map. And to hear very similarity. I am ready to be of service. I'm ready. I know there's more to me. How can I activate my soul purpose? Who am I? What's my star connections? I can feel it since I was a child, or my mother was having experience, or I have someone in my family, or as a child myself. I hear that every day. And so we can tell that we are at that point of being able to be here more hands-on, to be able to says, hey, now you know who I am, you know who we are, and we here to walk with you. Because in reality, we're here as future aspect of your own self, and we're here to remind you, to help you remember and return to that state. And it's doable even in the day-to-day granular detail of life. I always says everything is an invitation to awaken. Think about it. You can be feeding your dog and have this moment of epiphany where something just came through. Sometimes I'm cooking for the family and I can feel my heart center throbbing, like I'm in that energy. Now I know I'm getting an upgrade, and I'm cooking dinner for the family. It's not about what you do, it's about who you are. It's about your state of consciousness, about the light that you carry in you. I mean, how many stories we hear people, truck drivers becoming phenomenal channels for consciousness and supreme beings, and people having those moments of awakening. You can be sitting in an airplane reading a book, and out of the blue something just came through you. And this is why we invite everyone to just center into your heart, be attentive, allow yourself to be conscious of where you are redirecting the power of your light, your heart energy, the power of your mind, your thought forms. Their thoughts becomes thing in actions. They become actual energy that co-create something tangible. So I rejoice of seeing so many of us want to be of service and being able to be leading others, be in source of inspiration. And that's what we do, whether it's the meditation service I offer for free, or my evening services, or community classes, whenever I speak, like right now with you, and everyone who's been listening, all the interviews, the conferences, the goal is to really generating those waves of powerful awakening and come together as a community of light. Let's just no more separation and fragmentation and polarity and, opposition, who's more popular than another. Let's come back together. And that's also implementing right here, right now, fifth dimensional consciousness. It's more of a unity consciousness, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you so much for that. And I understand that you're dedicated to creating more universal consciousness and reestablishing ourselves as divine sovereign beings. Viviane, is everyone on the planet at this time ready for ascension, or are there some who haven't mastered the lessons in 3D duality yet who need to go around the 3D wheel again?
Great question, actually, Suzanne. It's a really good point. It is my understanding for what I have been shown from my group, and also I work with other groups, like the Andromedan, for example. I'm very close to the Andromedan. So for what I have been shown and from my understanding, they are a group of souls. They can be thousands of them or even a million. It doesn't matter how many, but there's a group of souls on the planet whose evolution will simply imply continuing in a parallel reality similar to a third density as we have known right now, to help those souls to go through certain additional life lessons, being able to clear some karma, being able to assimilate maybe past lesson that's still overlapping today into repetition. So not every soul would be necessarily ready for this, but ultimately what I've been told by the galactics is that it's still evolution. So we see that as devolving because people get stuck, but in reality, it is appropriate for that person or this group of souls. And these group of souls understand at a soul level that that's what they need. And so that's why I said the invitation is there, but ultimately, eventually, even if it takes them another lifetime or two lifetimes or 1,000 years, time is of no importance in that sense. What is important is that these souls will be nurtured and redirected in ways that they can have an opportunity to evolve according to what is in resonance for them. So I am at peace with the word evolution because ultimately all the souls will evolve to where they need to be. And then eventually those souls can come back and reach the fifth dimensional reality. That's the beauty of it, is that there's no ultimatum here to says, well, you either do it right now or you're left behind and too bad for you. No, it's just simply that evolution will continue in a way that needs to be. And then for those of us who are ready to embrace facing the lesson, clear the clutter, helping, self-love, love who you are, accept who you are, let go of attachments, especially on a 3D level, is something that this life has taught me a lot about what it felt like to experience an Earth human life, is that how much not only we have so much power, at the same time, we get hooked on into so many things. And then that really constrict our ability to use the potential that we were born or came back with. So the more you're allowed to release, to detach, and come back into your centeredness, just feel every day how much you are like a cosmic tree of knowledge, rooted and yet connected to all there is. It really brings you back into living by your own soul synchronicity. That is really much more powerful than just saying, oh, everything happens with synchronicity and divine timing. Yes, of course. But imagine you living in addition to that, to your own soul synchronicity, which brings you back completely in alignment with your own soul design, your own soul alignment. So it really helps to accelerate that process of healing, releasing, reconciliating those shadow aspects, coming from fragmentation to more like, I feel whole, complete, and perfect now. So honoring the path of everyone and still be an inspiration. I like to add a little layer to that, if I may. I always says, even though we do honor the soul evolution of everyone, if you are ready and you feel that you're embracing more fifth dimensional or higher level of consciousness, always allow yourself to be that way. I always says, higher consciousness invite lower consciousness to evolve, not the other way around. So that's what the layer I wanted to add.
Thank you for that. Living,
Yes,
walking, breathing, being that higher dimensional version of yourself is challenging in this third dimension of duality, but a glorious mission to be on. And every moment of every day is an opportunity for doing that. And it's a constant shifting, I find, to sustain that higher vibration and still interact in the third dimensional reality. So I enjoy the opportunity to reflect on every interaction, witness my every reaction, and am always striving to up level it to the highest possible consciousness that I can, as an example, but also for my own soul's evolution and to support the evolution of others as well by being inspiring and empowering and even enlightening. Viviane, tell me more about your best-selling book, Wisdom of the Silver Sisters.
Yes, let me show it to you. This book has been truly an endeavor of love and divine grace. This is a beautiful compilation of about 44 to 45 authors combined together, agreed to bring their light, their wisdom, their knowledge. And if you look at the wisdom of the Silver Sister, there's also the energy of the Sisterhood of Light. They're representing the divine counsel for the divine feminine aspect of creator. So this book is really, it's what nourishes your soul, nourishes your heart. The good news about this one is that volume number 2 is coming up in November. And this time it's going to be the golden wisdom of legend and so forth. So we move from the silver ray to the golden ray in the second book that's coming up in November. And it's been absolutely a joy to be part of this and to be able to bring a lot of inspirational story, true life story, life experiences, wisdom, whether it's angelic from Gaia, whether it's from the galactics. So it's really amazing. Thank you for mentioning the book today, Suzanne.
Well, thank you for writing it and sharing your wisdom and knowledge and your experiences and teachings. Can you talk more about how you have been genetically engineered as an Arcturian hybrid here to serve the awakening and ascension of humanity?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So if you look at civilizations truly advanced like the Arcturians, Arcturians, we are millions of years old, so we have been around like guardians of many other planets. What we do is that we are guardians of life. We help life to evolve, to return to supreme source and to creator. That's what we do. That's just a very quick essence of what we do. So when we come to decide that the Earth was going to enter into the most probable organic timeline for the ascension process, I immediately volunteer that I want to be here as a very powerful, clear conduit for the transmission of very specific frequencies that will be continuously being anchored onto the Earth plane. And think of it as almost like a radio tower being transmitting into everywhere to support the extraction of the Earth out of a polarized, dualistic matrix reality. It's almost like taking the Earth out of a grid that she's been trapped in, so to speak. It's just a figure of speech, but to be able to allow this natural evolution. So what I did is that through my Arcturian self, I'm also part of the councils back on Arcturus, and I'm also part of the 12 High Priestess. I chose to be here in a very unique configuration of light and bring in the highest level of vibrational state I could sustain in this form on the planet. So what we did is that it took us generation to be able to perfect the perfect conduit for me to embody in my soul consciousness here. So what we did is that we create an holographic, very advanced holographic template capable of sustaining a biological system. And then once the template was perfected and was ready, then this is where I entered, well, a soul aspect, a soul emanation, my consciousness enter the template. And of course, from there, then I was introduced back to the earth and born here so I can be coexisting here physically or in a form of physical representation on the planet as I am at the same time still back in my Octurian avatar self back in Arcturus. So I'm coexisting in two places. So you see me here. Yes, I am here from a certain point of view. I am here, but at the same time, I'm also off planet at the same time. So I wanted, and I asked the Council of Elders to be able to do this. It took a long time. It didn't happen overnight, I can tell you that. And we have to wait for the perfection of the timeline to enter a certain conjunction for me to be able to do this and be coming back to the planet. So I was reintroduced at a perfect generational timeline where I was when I returned to the Earth. And the Earth knows that because she greeted me. I talk to the consciousness of the Earth and she knows that I'm here. She, very much so. She almost like she can feel my thoughts. Whenever I think of something, I get a feedback from Gaia. It's incredible. So we have this symbiotic communication, her and I, and she knew that I was going to come back in a very specific configuration. And when I came back, the Earth greets me, and I knew that, I was very happy to return. I rejoiced to see that finally the Earth humans was given an opportunity to return to their original state. It's just getting off of the incarnation wheel, that 3D merry roundabout of being fragmented, not knowing who you are, the forgetfulness, being in a dream of all these projection. It is time to clear that out of the way completely. Dismantle these illusionary pattern and helping the natural evolutionary state of an entire civilization. Can you imagine? Can you imagine right here, right now, feeling this wave of consciousness return to the planet and everyone return to the light? It's like watching light opening around the globe and says, "Oh my God, I remember who I am. Now I know." And then imagine what we can do and co-create right here, right now. I mean, if ascension is like this, it's a tip of a finger. I know I sound like I make it simplified, but in reality, it's a conscious choice. Even with the challenges, and believe me, I understand that. I'm here. Why do you think I'm here, boots on the ground, so to speak? I could have chosen different ways to be of service, multitude way, but I'm here to be of assistance in a way that it says, hey, we can do it. We did it as a civilization. You can too. Just remember who you are. Allow yourself to remember. Choose that every day. Everything that you do, everything that you touch, everyone you interact with makes a huge difference. And so, again, in a nutshell, that's, yes, how I came about. And it's a very complex system. We have access to very advanced level of organic technology and advanced light technology that allows us to create physical vessel that will sustain a consciousness to be able to evolve in different places throughout the multiverse as we need to be assisting, whether it's on planet, off planet. We have that ability to do that.
Thank you for that. You talk about
Yeah.
like different alignments that are more conducive for an awakening or evolving an ascension process for humanity. Have you been shown that this is cyclical, based on, for instance, the Hindus' ages of the yugas, where the planet goes on a 13,000 year descension devolution arc into the dark ages, and then a 13,000 year ascension evolution arc back into another golden age of enlightenment where the planet is in more direct alignment with Brahma flowing through the center of the Milky Way galaxy, the supermassive black hole, through which then solar flares can emit from the great central sun at the core of creation and connect with our planet, carrying supercharged encoded photons of light encoded with advanced codes of creation.
Well, absolutely. What you just described, Suzanne, it's also a natural evolutionary process that not only the Earth is going through, but also around the Earth, whether it's the moving into a new era of space, the Earth is shifting, moving into a new era of space where the Earth is more bombarded, if you want, or exposed to either new photons energy or solar frequencies. And especially when you look at the Great Central Sun with the living library, and the library of the living codes, we are starting to get much more in alignment. So all of these cycles were necessary to reposition the Earth in a certain aspect of herself so we can be able to receive without interference. And that's the thing, there's been so much interference going on throughout these cycles. And now where we are right now is that all of these cycle of descending back and reascending and descending back again like a roller coaster will no longer be permitted. That's why we said we have entered into a more stabilized ascension process, which allow the solar frequencies, which is coming from the Great Central Sun or even to the core of the Central Sun coming in, to allow life to evolve without being interfered with. And that's a huge, huge aspect that's going on right now. When we talk about the dismantle of three-dimensional matrix reality, it's all of these hooks, if you want, of these layers, almost like grids has been put over time throughout these cycles to prevent the Earth from really ascending. We could have done this. The Earth could have ascended way before today, or where we're moving right now. It could have been done before that, because we have seen a multitude of timeline of potential overlapping all at once, and we can see which timeline has been either shifted, diverted, interfered with, and so forth. What do you think is so much assistance from the advanced and enlightened intergalactic groups is to prevent these kind of interference, so we can receive the full aspect of whether it's solar energy or new frequency coming through or anything else that the Earth and all habitant needs to really shift into that luminous light body changing. Same thing with the body, and the human body template is shifting completely. This heavy carbon based, so heavy 3D, through strand DNA. This is part of the interference we were talking about. It's releasing these releasing those grids to allow even the body to be able to receive all of the frequencies and the upgrades that we are receiving from everywhere, to allow that luminous light body shifting and evolution process. This is why we see you eventually moving back to more of an avatar matrix reality, where the 12-dimensional blueprint of the body will be, whether it's the galactic chakras, whether it's the solar universal ones, all the multidimensionality coming back, so we can be more in resonance with the rest of the universe. I mean, look at your solar system. All the other planets, they have already shifted in their fifth-dimensional form. What you're looking with your telescope is just an aspect of a past. It's an image of a past imprint of what the solar system was about, but it's no longer there. We see the solar system shifting so much. So the Earth feel like been almost like put in place, stood still in time, and everything else shifting. So now we finally bring that evolution where it needs to be. So everything that you mentioned, yes, those cycles, but now these cycles, we are at that point right now. And you will see the next 2 years on your planet is going to be very crucial for this. 2023, 2024, two very major year that we're heading to. So let's come back to the point of essential for you all on the planet is rediscover your inner universe. You have everything encoded, all the cycle, all the evolution, all the quantum energy. You have everything encoded in you. I mean, look just at the DNA itself. That's a complete on-tap era, realm of pure potential and energy. The chromosome, the codons, everything is shifting. And that's part of, we also are here to help to achieve that evolutionary stage. This is part of what I'm here moving forward, especially in the future timelines. My role will be more predominant.
And so over the course of the next 2 years being crucial for humanity choosing either subconsciously or consciously to ascend by their thoughts, words, and actions here in the third dimensional reality, and also through the types of services that you offer, as well as those who are subconsciously maybe choosing to go around the wheel again, simply to continue to master the lessons that they have to learn in this particular 3D duality reality. How will that interpret into that which unfolds on planet Earth over the next 2 years? Do you have insight regarding that?
First, it's going to be a very personal and individual choice and process. You could say self-mastery comes from understanding how you're utilizing every day your thoughts, your energy, your co-creative power. The next 2 years or so, it's really about rediscovering the very core essence of who you are. It's about releasing the attachments to all the distraction that the third dimensional reality has put in place to divert everyone away from the very core of the true power that is right here in the human aspect. Your heart, who you are, even as an earth human, carries so much emotion of energy, just your emotional body, your thought forms, your mental faculties. There's so much energy to harvest. Did you know that just what the energy that you emanate into your field, you have so much energy coming from you that we can feel it. We can see that energy even coming off of the earth. So the next 2 years, it's the invitation to really generating that next level of accelerated consciousness for the souls on the planet who will choose to continue their self-mastery path through a more third density traditional way. Well, they will be coached, they will be guided to do so. But the next 2 years, we will see all the seeds that has been planted, all the work that has been done. You're going to start to see much more tangible result as a result of all the work that we have done collectively. And I'm just not talking about myself, Suzanne. I'm talking about everyone on the planet. Everyone who go to sacred site, activate to whether it's the crop circles, whether it's working with the grids, whether it's coming with the galactic groups. I recently, a few months ago, brought in the next level of ascension codes from the galactic core that I was asked to be the conduit for because I'm genetically capable of holding these kind of frequencies. And these codes were transmitted through me and retransmitted into the earth. And I was the middle part in the middle to receive those codes, and I witnessed them. I witnessed a multitude of multidimensional doorway opening in front of me, and I received several invitations to be able to work with a different level of consciousness, like a multitude of consciousness. And that just took place just a few months ago in this year. So what we're doing is that we're already preparing for what is already coexisting. Now remember, it's already existing. It's already there. It's already a reality, right? There's no past, present, future. It's all coexisting into the multidimensionality, all levels. So what we do is simply realign the most potential outcome of what we are moving into. It's always potentials. It's never a prediction. Prediction is more 3D. Potential is what aligns you with what is already unfolding. Look at the Mayans, what they tell, the end of the Mayan calendar, December 12th, 2012, and the end of that 26,000 year cycle. What do you think they were telling you? You're shifting out, finally start to move out of those 3D linear time construct, and you're starting your ascension back to a more universal time construct where everything now is moving. So I felt it personally on that day in December of 2012. I was doing a ceremony and I saw huge ship like ring of light. They're telling us finally You have shifted away from a very specific cycle. Now, moving forward after that, thing is going to start to move in a whole different level. And even though the last 2 years here, I know we've gone through a lot on the planet with the pandemic and all of this, but you have to think about as much as we're moving into constricted energies, the counterpart of the light is even greater, even greater. So what we have moved into, I call it a funnel analogy, in the last 2 years, the movement that it's creating, it's even far greater in the light. This is why I say that the next 2 years is going to be particularly fertile in the manifestation field. So this is why get ready today, be in alignment, choose to serve the light. This is who you are in every way, right? Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And that was very beautifully expressed, Vivian. I'm so
Yeah.
delighted that you will be joining us for our Sedona Ascension Retreat, March 17th through 19th at the Sedona Performing Arts Center. And you are such a perfect fit for our Ascension Retreat, Vivian. And I'm sure that those who will have the opportunity to participate in your presentation will be naturally upgraded. Of course, you'll have a vendor table and there have very interactive engagements with those visiting your table. Also with the opportunity to purchase your book and maybe sign up for your sessions. Also, Deb Jutsi is having an Ascension panel, and we're excited for you to be able to participate in that as well. So thank you so much for your willingness to be part of our beautiful Ascension retreat in Sedona, Vivian.
Oh, thank you for bringing me on board. Absolutely delightful. We will be there with all my delegation. We'll do beautiful activation with the Octorians, working really into accelerating the process of helping people to go back into the universal matrix, moving into a higher dimensional density from third, moving to the fifth, and how we can assist you with this. Plus, my husband Peter will be with me, of course, bringing his amazing organic tools through the tensor field and his angelic connection. We're going to have that also our vendor table, which I'm so excited to be there. And of course, see you in Sedona as well.
Definitely. Well, thank you for all you're doing to serve the awakening and ascension of humanity, Vivian. Bless you. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I can't wait to see you in March in Sedona. Many
I can't wait
blessings.
to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite blessing, much love and light to you, Suzanne.
Thank you. Mwah. To watch more speaker videos, visit Sci-Spi.tv and purchase your ticket today at SedonaAscensionRetreats.com. We'll see you in Sedona.